me to do that? Should I start?
That sounds good.
Okay, then in that case, well, first thing is a roll call, and at the moment it looks like, unfortunately, Dave can't make it, but everybody else is here. And I'm sorry, I'm the person on the phone. I don't remember your name.
Harry
Clark, he's the operations supervisor at the treatment plant.
Okay.
He
Barry
runs
Clark
the
is-
plant.
Yeah,
All right, and who will be taking the minutes? Carrie, you doing that?
Yep, all set, John.
Okay, great. Okay, so that's the roll call. So citizens petitions, I assume there are none since there are no citizens here.
no, there's nobody in the attendee, so there's no citizens here.
Okay, so the next thing is the approval of minutes. Do I have a motion on that?
So moved.
Second.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Yes.
Aye. Okay, any opposed? No, couldn't be. Okay, so those are approved. According to the agenda, there's no communications and bills. So the next thing is reports, consultant reports. Well, I'll leave that to you, Greg. You can,
Yeah, there's no consultant reports.
okay. Am I looking at the minutes rather than the?
No,
Yeah,
no,
right.
the agenda indicated items that,
Right. I was looking at the wrong page. Sorry. Okay,
Okay.
so the next, where there is something to discuss, I guess, is 5D, which is the Public Work Director's report.
Yep. Okay. Just kind of piggybacking along with the COVID we were just discussing, we do have one employee at the plant that tested positive, so he's out for a couple of weeks in quarantine. And because the wastewater treatment plant employees are considered an essential frontline workers, they are in the 1B class, so they will be getting their vaccines hopefully fairly soon. Hopefully in the next few weeks or so. So that they, because of the nature of the work they do, they are considered a frontline employees. Tomorrow we'll be signing the contract with Allstate Construction for the Gosco pump station improvements. We did a base bid plus one alternate, came in at 1.2 million, which is just below our 1.3 million we had budgeted. So we'll have a little bit of contingency if things come up during construction, which is good. Once I get a schedule from them, I'll let you guys know what that is. This week, I'm interviewing two candidates for the assistant director, head of the Water Pollution Control Division position. Had one yesterday and have one tomorrow. Both look like good candidates, so hopefully next time we'll have somebody new here. And just to pass along on the Beard Brewery Mystic Cheese issue, I understand from the tax department that Beard Brewery did pay their full bill when it was due, which was the $12,430.
good for them.
And Mystic Cheese paid half of theirs. And other than that, I have not heard anything from them. I was going to wait till after the holidays, check in with them, see how they're coming along with their flow meter and their sampling manhole, see if there's any progress on that, but I have not heard anything from them. And that's all I had to report.
Okay, and the next item is the Water Pollution Control Facility report.
Yep, that you should have gotten in your handout. I don't know, Harry, did you want to go over that? Or do you have?
actually, I don't have a copy in front of me.
All right. Well, probably the biggest news on that whole report is the nitrogen credits. Because we did, and Harry's guys, I have to give him credit, not myself. His guys did such a great job last year. We were actually going to get back about $10,000 from the nitrogen credit exchange program with the state, which is
Wow.
good news. I think the year before we got like a $400 and something back, but this year we're getting around 10,000 back, so that's nice. Let's see, as far as the nitrogen, let's see for December, well, December was last year, 108 pounds. Everything else is within permit limits. So I don't think, there's nothing else, is there, Harry, that,
No, I think that was it.
okay.
Okay, so that brings us to old business, which is the DEP general permit issue. Is there anything more to talk about on that?
Yeah, Harry and I did meet and we discussed, some potential proposed permit fees. I'm gonna just share my screen here. Bring up. Do this. All right, can you all see that?
Yep.
Yeah,
All right, Harry, you're on the phone, so you're not seeing what I'm showing here, but basically I took the chart that you had come up with. And for all the different forms that these industrial users would submit to the town, he kind of came up with over on the right column here, the amount of time that we would be spending, whether it's an hour, 3 hours, 4 hours, half an hour, whatever, kind of reviewing this, going through their data to make sure that they meet their requirements, kind of doing what the DEP was doing or should have been doing. So I took those hours and I just basically used $50 an hour just to kind of cover our expenses, and came up with these dollar amounts for the different forms that these people would be submitting. And most people would typically be submitting this first one, this notification form, which is $50, then this detailed discharge information, which works out to $350, and then the screening analysis is another 25. So a typical fee for most businesses would be about $425. And I believe this is a one-time fee for, was it 5 years, Harry?
Yes, 5 years. Yeah.
Okay, and just as a comparison, over on the left here, I kind of wrote in what DEP would have typically charged for the same basic forms and permit reviews. And they were slightly more, 500 for swimming pool, vehicle maintenance was 625, and miscellaneous is 500. So, I'm pretty comfortable that these are reasonable fees if you guys, so choose to charge these. Again, the state statute that kind of forced this upon us does allow the authorities of the, each public operated treatment works to assign fees if they so choose, or you could not. But these seem like a pretty reasonable fees to me, just to kind of cover our costs. And they're less than what people are used to paying now.
So if we were to choose to do these fees procedurally, do we have to do it like we did raising the sewer rate, in where there's an announced public session to address it? Is that
That's a good question, Hugh. I'll have to double check that to see if it's a public hearings are required for this.
okay?
I'm not sure that it is, but I can double check that. And then
Okay,
at the next meeting, we can have a resolution if we don't need to do that, just to approve these if you so choose to. And then we can figure out internally how we do the process of collecting the money and whatnot.
and do we have any idea how many businesses this covers approximately?
There's about 12,
Oh,
about 12
okay.
businesses.
It's not a huge number. It's not like we need to hire somebody additional to process all the applications.
No, not at all. It's mostly car washes, but also the airport is in there. And one of the individual permit holders is looking to use this registration rather than renew his individual permit. And that would save them quite a bit of money and effort. So that's who it mainly is car washes.
Okay, thanks.
so if we can do it by resolution, can you have like a something ready for us, a schedule so that we can have that in front of us to vote on?
Sure.
This would be at the next meeting or sometime before then?
At the next meeting,
I see.
we can do it then. Because I think, what was the date, Harry, you gave me? Was it the end of April they have these?
Yes.
these-
Yeah, so they extended it. It was originally the end of this month, but they extended it to the end of April. I think just because it's a new procedure and a lot of things going on with it, so.
Okay,
I guess another, do the businesses who are involved in this already know that and know what they need to do, or you all have to do some sort of outreach to them?
No, I've already done that. I've already talked to all of the businesses and sent them information packages and copies of the permits. And so they're ready to go. We're kind of just waiting for the fees in most cases. And that should be it.
Okay. So we need to decide about the fees. I mean, I guess, we'll vote formally if, hopefully next meeting, if we don't have to do the other procedure, but it seems to me pretty reasonable, fees, and like you said, in line with the other state fees.
Right. And it is based on work that we'll actually have to do for the permit. So I'm not sure how the state figured their fees, but this actually is based on what we'll need to do.
okay, I think that's it for that. So we go down to the new business, which is the budget presentation. And can you restore us to our
Well, I'm gonna bring up
regular? Oh, I see. Okay.
got another spreadsheet here. This is kind of my worksheet that I've been putting together. In fact, a lot of these numbers I just got in the last day or two, so to bear with me on some of this stuff here, but I just want to kind of give you an overview of where we are on the budget. These first items up here is all salary, Social Security, retirement, health insurance, all that kind of stuff that really finance gives us all these numbers. We don't really have much control over this. Roughly, it's going to be about the same as last year, which is 2.5 million for all the overtime, allowances, retirement, health insurance, all that stuff. The next group is the operating budget, which is stuff we do have control over. So this is probably way too much detail than what you'll need, but if you look in the in any budget, you'll see these object codes over here on the left and the title here, and you'll see all those, and then this number over here in this column almost all the way to the right. This is what was approved in FY 21 last year. So this budget last year ended up being, totaled up about 7.69 million, which is what you guys approved last year, and the council and RTM approved as well. So we just went through all the, line by line, went through, and pretty much everything is going to be pretty consistent to what it was last year. Utilities and fuel, it did go down a little bit because of the decreased costs in diesel and heating oil. Payments and contributions went down quite a bit because we pay the finance department a percentage of our budget for doing the tax billings and auditing and things of that sort. So because the overall budget, you'll see in a minute, has gone down quite a bit, this number went down accordingly. So this stuff is pretty consistently the same. Insurance, this is insurance for boilers and underground tanks. That went up a little bit. Professional technical services, this includes hauling sludge and stuff, so all those costs are going to go up a little bit. And then let's see, get down towards the bottom here, we're not purchasing any new vehicles. So it's 18,000 less. Debt service went down. This is the interest we've been paying over the years for the Fort Hill court rehab project we did a number of years ago. I think we have about 3 or 4 more years left on this before that goes to zero. And then probably the biggest one, the one that makes the biggest impact is this last item, the reserve fund equipment. This is the CIP projects. Last year, because we had the Gosco pump station at 1.3 million, this number was 1.475. We had a couple other little projects in there. This year, we only have really a couple of smaller projects we're looking at doing and a couple little design projects. So we're down. We've basically taken $1 million off that, so it's down to 475. So when you total this all up, the proposed FY22 budget is roughly, just under 6.6 million, which is a little. It's about 1.1 million less than last year. So over here, this box over here, we've kind of estimated our revenues from sewer user fees. This is the 6.8 million and change, and then the expenditures, the budget. And so we'll have about a balance left that we can apply to the fund balance of around $300,000. So that's, keeping the user fees where they are, $34.50 a month for the residential, and I forget what the commercial is, I think 0.055 per cubic foot or something like that. So, with what we have left over from last year's fund balance, plus whatever savings we get from our operational accounts this year, and this amount here that we can, so we'll have a pretty hefty fund balance, going into the year after, which is kind of what, I think you guys are looking to do, is kind of doing a larger pump station project every other year to kind of pay for things as you go, and those user fees fairly consistent. So that's it. I'll have a better numbers at the next meeting to go through, more final numbers. I do have to go through this one more time and then submit this to the town manager on Thursday, along with my regular public works budget. But that'll be subject to change as we go through the whole process. So I don't know if anybody had any questions, comments.
Greg, do you think you can, for the next meeting, could you send us a copy of this, whatever your latest spreadsheet is?
Oh,
with the
absolutely.
other
Yeah, I
materials?
apologize. Like I said, I literally got the numbers I needed like yesterday. So I
Right,
told
no, that's
Gary-
fine, but if possible, it'd be nice to have.
Yeah, oh, absolutely. Yeah. I just want to kind of give you a preliminary overview of where we're going, and so
Right.
no surprises or anything. If you had any questions, I could try to get those answered. If I can't tonight, then for next time. But yeah, I'll have a better spreadsheet with the actual numbers we're using next time. And I'll get to you ahead of time.
Right, so I have a couple of questions, I guess. So, for the Fuss O'Neill report on the, the west side,
Yeah.
if they come back with any of those as sort of action items that they're recommending, is that something that would be included in this budget year, or are those things that would be done the next year?
Yeah, it's not included in this budget year. So I think that we'd be looking at it in a year from now.
Okay. But it sounded like some of those things, like figuring out about the water flow around the base and stuff, that there might be sort of small, I don't know, studies to work through all that.
Yeah, and we do have some money already existing to do some of that work, that we
Okay.
can tap into. It's not like we don't have anything. We don't have a huge pot of money, but we do have, some existing CIP projects that we can tap into to take care of some of those issues.
Okay. And then Uh, oh, that's it, I guess.
All right, any other comments about the budget? Then in that case, I think we're down to other business. Is there any other business?
So, I just wanted to ask, because I did listen yesterday to the presentation about what's being now called Mystic River Bluffs, the Mystic Education Center property, and there were a number of comments made, just a couple, about, you know, the importance of obviously sewer and more for that. So I believe from previous meetings that essentially you all have already planned for that, and we have the capacity. Is that right? Or you don't know? Because I guess they've enlarged things a bit, partly because they bought property next door and they'll do sort of smaller development there.
Yeah, I meant to listen into that presentation last night. I didn't get a chance to. I'll have to watch it, but we did look at that with a certain size development. I don't know if it's gotten bigger from what we had modeled through our northeast interceptor.
Yeah, I think it was 700 units a year ago, I want to say, when wasn't it Fuss and O'Neill that made that
Yeah,
pretty detailed presentation of a study they had done. I think it was only 700 at that time, and now it would be I believe 900, correct?
Right, I think it's
Oh.
now around 900.
oh, okay.
But my memory is that there was plenty of capacity.
There is, you know, the bottleneck in the whole system is actually down by Mumford or Groton Long Point, where the pipes get really flat down there.
Right.
If I recall, and they're actually, but by the time the flow from this, you know, development gets there, it's really, it doesn't impact it, doesn't change anything there, per se.
Good.
So, yeah, there really is no issues with them going in there as far as the capacity.
Okay, so that sounds great. And yeah, I found a very useful presentation to hear, and you know, it sounds like they're really trying to address the issues that folks have been raising. So, but it doesn't sound like we're really going to be a sticking point for this. That's all I wanted to
Okay,
check in on.
All right, any other business anybody wants to bring up?
Not me.
All right, well,
Shall
then
I
I guess,
move to adjourn?
Second.
all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. All right,
No,
well,
we
I guess
have
we're
to-
adjourned. See you in a month.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
good night, everybody.
Have a good
Goodbye.
night. Good night.
Right.
Night.
Bye.
Happy Inauguration Day.
That's right. Yay.